What's going on, guys? This is BYSSTED, and this is gonna be probably one of the best combo videos I have uploaded in a while. I had no idea how ridiculously filthy this deck was until I tested it out myself. The boards that you can make are ridiculous, and it's also really insane going second. You can also incorporate hand traps that synergize with your strategy, so like, it just does too much. And of course, if you're going first or second, you always have a way to deal with your opponent's board. And the deck is very resourceful, so it's the version of TEARLAMENTS that doesn't even lose that much to D-Shifter, because of course Livestreams shuffles back from the banished. You want to banish all my cards? No problem, I'm still gonna fuse. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys 5 combos today, so this is gonna be a big one. And of course, the deck profile coming up tomorrow. But of course, before we get into this video, friendly reminder to like and subscribe. Really important to smash both of these beautiful buttons, man. They're right in front of you. What are you waiting for? And if this video can get to 1,000 likes, I will be making a live stream on this deck. And now let's jump right into combo number 1. Combo number 1, I'm going to assume that I have like high spirits and any TEARLAMENTS monster, and that I get like one relatively decent meal, but not even that good. So I'm going to be searching for that Albion with the branded high spirits, and then trigger my TEARLAMENT from the graveyard because I sent the Lulu Caro. So it's kind of like the new Death Frog, but instead of being a bad card, it's an actual good card that you're playing anyways. So this is why their high spirits package is so much better. And on top of that, you summon a monster on draw phase, so you dodge Effect Veiler and Jordan Logbird because you're searching a bunch of cards on draw phase, and you do not lose to Ghost Reaper and the BYSSTED monsters because you do not control monsters on the field when you summon your Kid Kalos. So it kind of feels like 3 extra copies of instant fusion, and that is always something that we can appreciate, right? So you're going to be searching the Reno Heart, and then on main phase, going to be targeting itself to summon the Reno Heart, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, and my mills will not be the best, so I milled 4 blank cards, as well as this card right there, BYSSTED Saronier. So if you were playing, you know, BYSSTED cards in your Splight deck or whatever, you're typically trying to play Magnamut and Druid Worm. These are kind of like the best ones, but Saronier is not really a card that is seeing a lot of play, you know, splashably. That's not really a term, but it's not really being splashed in like so many decks. So this one is the one deck that can actually abuse its effect when it's sent to the graveyard, allowing you to foolish your deck for a branded spell or trap card or a BYSSTED monster, and that will really come up because there is one card actually that really benefits off of being sent to the graveyard, or rather being in the graveyard. So with the Saronier, we're going to be foolishing for branded fusion. Trust me, we can actually get it back, so no problem there. And then, of course, the Reno Heart sent another TEARLAMENT monster, so Shaylin in this situation. Gonna fuse for the Lulu Caro, so if you have any Nibiru, it's not gonna do anything to me. Now, I'll go Albion send what? The branded Retribution. Yes, that is the card that I was talking about, so you can banish it from the grave and recycle back any branded spell or trap from the grave. So mailing cards and also foolishing your cards with the Saronier really comes up. So just with 2 cards, look at what you can do. So I can draw 1 card, and it doesn't matter which it is because I'm just gonna be discarding it off of the Lubellion, recycle back the branded fusion, and now send the Tragedy as well as the Fallen of Albaz. Summon the Lubellion, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2. You chain block depending on what you really want to play around, but at this point my opponent probably doesn't have any hand traps, but obviously this is just a 2-card combo, so even if you get stopped, you have like 3 other cards in your hand. This is like, the world is your oyster with this combo. It's high spirits in any tier that isn't Reno Heart is always so good, and even if it's like Reno Heart, it's not too bad. But yeah, now we're going to be going into Mirror Jade, and during the end phase, send the Albion, banish the Reno Heart, and then get your branded in red. And during the opponent's turn, I think you can already imagine that we have triple interruptions, which is not too bad. So our opponent can summon the Fenrir, and it's not going to be doing too much because now we can go for Guardian Chimera, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Chainlink 3. So the Tragedy is going to be searching for the Aluber. Chainlink 2 will be the Ad Libitum, reviving back the Mirror Jade, and it's going to be a fresh Mirror Jade that can use its effect to banish another card on the field, well, another monster on the field, and the Guardian Chimera is going to be drawing us 2 cards and destroying 1 card your opponent controls. Doesn't target, it's so good. And the Splight starter can be taken care of with the Lulu Caros, and if your opponent only has 1 Nimble Beaver and you have a banish, he's not going to go too far. And of course, because of the draw 2, there is a potential chance of you drawing it into your BYSSTED monsters, which could be in further interruptions. And on top of that, you have an Aluber, which can search branded fusion next turn. So on top of having 9k damage on board, even more than that, over 9,000, you have super follow-up for days, a bunch of cards in hand, and like a stacked graveyard. So that's it for this one. Let's get right into combo number 2. Alright, another really nice hand. So now we have Reno Heart, Venus, rebranded, branded opening, and Tragedy. a lot of cards that really benefit off of being sent to the grave. It's fantastic. So opening pitch the Tragedy, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. You can bait so many hand traps with this. So sometimes you go into your TEARLAMENTS play completely uninterrupted because the branded cards were able to bait the interruptions, or you can do the other way around, bait your interruptions with the TEARLAMENTS cards and then resolve your branded fusion. So what I personally like to do going second, I use a bunch of cards and then at the very end my opponent is out of negates, I go branded fusion and then he goes like, oh man, I lose. Yeah, it does so much because you can make a Mirror Jade which breaks the board even more, gets you a Speller Trap during the end phase, can be branded in red, gonna be demolishing your opponent, and again, you can see it right now. The rebranded is really cool here, allowing you to draw one card as well whenever a light or dark monster is banished. So the Mirror Jade can even trigger it by banishing your own cards, or you can banish your other cards in the grave with the BYSSTED monsters. So this card is never really a brick to draw. It's a good card to mill as well because the Branded Beast, the continuous trap card for the BYSSTED cards, is a card that can activate it back during the end phase. So yeah, that is the combo, and this is already a very nice board. A random hand even, so every single hand can do stuff like that. It's really consistent. So we have Salik, Branded in red, Mirror Jade, Lulu Karos, 3 cards in hand. So again, the same amount of interruptions, but this time we have Salik. So we can actually make, let's say, Kaleido Heart or something if we have like another TEARLAMENT monster. Or we can go Salik, send the Reno Heart, and then revive it back, send the Salik, and then Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. So you're going to be searching for the Huffiness and then send another tier. And that way you can make a Kaleido Heart, shuffle back a card, etc. And then the Lulu Karos can send the Kaleido Heart to negate like a spell or trap card or monster effect that would try to summon. And then the Kaleido Heart would trigger, revive itself back, send another tier, summon Dragos Tapelia, and that would be like 20 billion interruptions. So if you can sequence this very well. Alright, combo number 3, my hand is a little worse because this time I have High Spirit, sure, but I don't have like a TEARLAMENTS monster. So I can still access it, no problem, because I have the field spell, but I have double field spell, so one of them is useless. And on top of that, I was unfortunate enough to draw Fallen of Albaz, but it's all good. It's just not really a brick. Like, you can still do stuff with it, and you can even put it back on the deck with the TEARLAMENTS monsters if it bothers you that much. But either way, Branded Fusion can still utilize it from the hand, so it's really not that bad. Anyways, I'm going to be searching the Albion, send the Retribution, draw one card. It's a Huffiness, doesn't really serve too much of a purpose, and then Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, mill a bunch of cards. That was not too bad, huh? So, branded opening, a few TEARLAMENTS names, and then the Reno Heart makes it so I have the third name every single time. So you always get to trigger like 3 TEARLAMENTS effects every single turn. So you can fuse like thrice. You can make it Kalos, Lulu Karos, and then Kaleido Heart. The field spell destroys Kaleido Heart. You bring it back, you send a Salik, you search another TEARLAMENTS monster. So there's a lot of searching going on. And then Retribution, get back my branded opening that I mailed, discard the TEARLAMENTS Reno Heart, and then summon the Aluber, which gets me the Branded Fusion. So you see, you don't even have to draw Branded Fusion or like Aluber in order to get your engine started. You can mill the cards that get you to Branded Fusion, and that works perfectly fine. So that way I can access my Mirror Jade, banish my monster, get my Branded in red, and that is always the setup that you're trying to achieve because I have the Tragedy in the grave, I have the Ad Libitum in my hand, I have a Phoenix as well, a Lulu Karos, Kaleido Heart, Solik, everything you could ask for. This is so much. Like, how many interruptions is that? The Guardian Chimera, pop 1, draw 2, or pop 2, draw 1, depending on what you want. And then the Mirror Jade is going to be banishing again. Lulu Karos can negate. Kaleido Heart is shuffle back, and it sends a monster so that you can make Dragos Tapelia. Salik is a negate. It's just so much. And again, you can draw into your BYSSTED monsters. So that's it for this one. Let's get right into combo number 4. Again, another really good hand, but every hand is good, so I really can't complain. Field Spell, Branded in red, Lubellion, Druid Worm, as well as Tragedy. So I'm going to be searching the Shaylin, and then pitch the Tragedy so I can mill 3 and also search with the Tragedy. That's going to be getting me the Ad Libitum, and then summon the Saronier, banish my Magnamut, and then revive back the Lubellion, goddamn. Send the Retribution with the Saronier, which again means that I can recycle back Branded Fusion. So it's so good, man. I could have not even mailed the or drawn or mailed the Tragedy, and I still would have been able to get my Branded Fusion to my hand. So yeah, going to be triggering every effect. So search summon the Kid Kalos, search the trap card, revive back the Reno Heart, Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. I have a Mirror Jade on my field that hasn't used its effect, and I hard drew the Branded in red, so I don't even have to banish myself, which means that the Mirror Jade in total can banish 2 cards. And again, the trick of destroying my own Kaleido Heart, reviving it back, send the Salik, and then search a monster. That is just free real estate, so why not do that while you can, right? So again, a bunch of interruptions, and if you're playing Crime, by the way, you can even put up more interruptions because instead of sending the trap card to search a monster, you send the Scream to search the Crime. So you're gonna have Crime, Sulik, Branded Beast, which destroys any card your opponent controls. So it's an Optimistic Mine. This deck is well equipped to beat everything. It has a built-in Optimistic Mine, and even if you mill Branded Beast, it's not the end of the world. You can go Retribution, recycle back your Branded Beast, and again, it's the same thing if your opponent randomly goes like MST or whatever, your Branded Beast. Of course, if your opponent goes Cosmic Cyclone and has the Mystic Mine, it is what it is, you can't do anything about it, but it's still a very disgusting board. So that is it for combo number 4. Let's get into the best one, combo number 5. Alright, combo number 5, my hand is way too good. Way too good. This is gonna be a big one, but before we proceed, friendly reminder, of course, to smash that like button and that subscribe button. You already know it, deck profile coming up tomorrow. You really don't want to miss that. This deck is so good, it could actually get you your first YCS top or first YCS win, or your 10th YCS top or YCS win. I don't even know, maybe you're like a freaking Chad playing this game with like 75 freaking tops. But yeah, this deck is really nasty and could get you there. Anyways, High Spirits on draw phase, always trying to play around Veiler and Droll and Logbird. Get your Albion, trigger your Hoffiness, and then Fuse for your Kid Kalos, which can search honestly anything at this point because you already have the Trap card, and you have the Field Spell, so the Field Spell is kind of like a... just, I don't know, like a Hoffiness for next turn so that you can interrupt your opponent even more. And again, Branded Fusion, send the Tragedy as well as the Fallen of Albaz. Gonna be discarding the Reno Heart because you can revive back from the grave with Kikalos anyways. So it's a free discard because otherwise I would have been able to summon, well, just summon it from the hand with Kikalos. So yeah, Surge the Ad Libitum with the Tragedy, shuffle back to summon the Mirror Jade, and then summon, well, target itself, revive back the Reno Heart, Chilling Quenching 2. I only triggered 1 tier effect up until now, so now I have the 2 others, which means that I can fuse twice. And I'm also trying to send the Rebranded with the BYSSTED Saronir, so that's going to be even more value. Summon the Lulu Karos and then fuse away for the Kaleido Heart. Destroy myself for the 10th billion time. Revive back myself and then send the Sulik to search another tier, even though I didn't need it, clearly. Discard the Lubellion to search the Magnamut, which can get a search on the end phase. So banish the Saronir and then trigger its effect. Revive back the Lubellion, get my Rebranded, which allows me to reactivate the Rebranded on end phase. And now the Magnamut is going to be triggering to search the Druid Worm, which can be a double interruption with Branded Beast, by the way. So you DD Crow your opponent, and then you go Branded Beast, tribute your Druid Worm, destroy a card, and then Druid Worm effect, send another card. So in total, these 2 cards are triple interruptions. And then again, Kaleido Heart with Sulik, Lulu Karos. The Mirror Jade is always also going to be banishing the Lubellion, and then get back the Lubellion into the bottom of the deck, draw 1 card. Albion, get the Branded in red, and what the heck is this? If you ask me, this is a little unfair, right? And this doesn't lose to Super Poly either. We have 1 Dark, 1 Water, and 1 Monster that can't even be used as a fusion material. We have 4 back row and 5 cards in hand. This is, like, unfair. Imagine if Fairy Tale Snow was still a thing. Oh, and by the way, we still have the Retribution in the grave. It's just a little too free, right? So, yeah, on your opponent's turn, how do we lose? We kind of can't. So, again, you have the Guardian Chimera access, so you can pop a few cards, draw a few cards, revive back the Mirror Jade, banish another card, and then Kaleido Heart with a Sulik play, Lulu Karo so that you can keep fusing for like Drago Stapelia or whatever you want, a bunch of cards in hand, the best follow-up that you could ask for, an Optimistic Mine already. Oh man, what can this deck not do? Yeah, I guess play around evenly matched if you're not playing Crime. That is the one issue that the deck has, and also it can't really Xyz summon, can't really Link summon or Synchro summon, because you're typically locked under fusion monsters only because of Branded Fusion. I want to say that's probably like the biggest drawback of the deck, but apart from that, the cards aren't really bricks because whether you draw Luber or Tragedy, they can always serve a purpose. You can draw Tragedy and then discard it off of Shaylin. Again, so many possibilities. But that's pretty much it for the combo video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.